Over the course of gaming, we've seen a game for pretty much every major sport and type of event out there, and there's a new version of the Tour de France 2017 now available. But does this game end up attacking its way to the finish line, or does it just end up with a flat tire? Tour de France 2017 is the 7th entry in the Tour de France series that encapsulates the Tour de France event with all of its stages, along with a handful of other biking events. The game provides you with a few modes of play, as well as a few ways to play each of these modes. You have the Tour mode, where you pick which tour you want to go on, whether it be the Tour de France 2017 or one of the other ones available. There's a total of 6, including the 2016 version of the Tour de France. You then get to select which team that you want to control, and there's a decent variety here. I'm sure fans of the sport will be able to find their favorites included here. From a more casual perspective, there are stats for each of the team with a star rating, as well as the other key stats numbered out for you, so you can kind of decide how you want to approach it and which team that you want to control. There's also an editor mode, so you can edit the names of the cyclists on your team, as well as edit the stats of them if you would like to. You then play through each of the stages, whichever one of the tours you've selected, with the standings going after each one of them, eventually culminating with the winner being declared. The way you approach each of the stages, though, is one of the better aspects of the game. Whether it's the hill, flat, or mountain types of stages, you can decide if you want to just simulate them and just have it speed on through, though you can't do multiple simulations at a time. Like, you can't do 3 or 4 stages at once. You have to go each one individually, but it doesn't take long to do so. Or you can play through them in their entirety from the very start of it to the very end. Or you can skip through parts of it, speeding through them at 16 times speed, getting to whatever particular spot that you want to go to, just a little bit ways in or all the way to the very end, and just do the final attack if you would like to. The time trial stages, though, unfortunately you can't do the speed up. You have to do them all the way through, but since they are time trials and relatively short, this isn't a big deal. During each stage, you not only get to control the cyclists that you want to, you can switch off between the different members of your team and switch who you're controlling, give out commands to individuals on your team, or to the entire team in general. If you want someone to go ahead and attack and speed up and try to get through, you can do that. Or you can tell them to hang back and try to do their best to go together or stay near the back or whatever it may be in order to try to help your team get the most amount of points out of whichever stage you're on. The controls take a little bit to get used to, for sure. Holding down R2 will allow you to start pedaling, but if you hold it down harder, it will make you, well, put more effort into it, speeding up. You can go at a nice leisurely pace if you want to by just letting a little bit up on it. You can mash the X button in order to attack and just mash that sprint, but unfortunately you have a limited amount of course, stamina in order to do so. You also get options like being able to just hold down R1 to kind of glide down the hill so you don't have to put as much effort into it and kind of use it as a brake. As well as if you're near another rider, you can hold square, so you can actually just follow them. This way you don't have to worry about moving anything, and you can just keep doing that for as long as you're behind somebody. If they decide to attack, though, and you're still on them, that will use up some of your stamina, but a lot of times you can just take a nice leisurely approach and slowly rebuild your stats a little bit during the middle parts of the stages. I think for those who have been playing this series for a while, you'll have no problem getting right back into it, but for those who may be playing the game for the first time, like me, it took a while trying to manage the stamina and get it exactly right and make sure that I had enough left by the time I made it to the ends of stages is all part of what makes the game interesting. The visual department, while it's not absolutely groundbreaking or anything, I think they did a nice job with some touches, especially in the mountain stages and the like. The other fans that are on the sides of the road are a little bit weird, especially when they're kind of coming out of the street and then they kind of slide back off the road when you end up approaching them is a bit weird. But for the most part, I thought the visuals did a decent job of trying to emulate what you would see while watching either the Tour de France on TV or actually participating. Outside of the individual tour mode, though, you have the manager mode where you get to create your own team, pick sponsors, hire bikers, and go through a series of different tours back to back to back. This is definitely an interesting mode that adds a bit more depth, but in the end, you're still completing the same tours and same stages. There's no new ones thrown into here, but will add to the gameplay for sure. There's also challenges to take on where you have a certain stretch of a stage for you to face off with and try to get a bronze, silver, or gold medal for completing it with certain things going on. A nice little cool also addition is the custom tour, where you can make a tour up of all different pieces of the other tours that are in the game, though you can't create your own tracks or your own stages. You just have to select from all the ones already included in the game, but still, it's a nice little touch. From the technical side of things, the game ran smoothly. I didn't run any major glitching, crashing, or slowdown of any sort. Tour de France 2017 is available on PS4, Xbox One, and PC for $49.99. On the PlayStation, it does feature a full trophy list in Platinum. Overall, Tour de France 2017 is one of those games, if you're a fan of this series or a fan of cycling, you're probably going to enjoy it, but from outsiders, a more casual perspective, it's a just okay game at best. While I like the presentation and graphics of the mountains and the like, it ends up falling in other aspects of its presentation, such as the voice acting and dialogue sequences and hearing the same things every single race over and over and over again, as well as a lot of the character models for the cyclists themselves all look identical. There was many stages that completed, and all 5 or 6 of the people presented with the podium all looked identical to one another, which was just a bit off-putting. Also, the game has an extremely high price point for what you get here. It's the same price that they've been charging for the previous entries, but still, from someone who's not the biggest fan of it, it's not going to be worth picking it up at that particular price. With everything said, though, I'm going to be giving Tour de France 2017 an average 5 out of 10. But anyway, guys, it's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.